And welcome to your daily news shot from Beerfield Fantasy Football. I'm your host, at HotBFF, with 2 Ps. It is Friday, September 8th, 2017, and we're here to give you your daily dose of NFL fantasy relevant news, so let's get started. Ezekiel Elliott's temporary suspension has been stayed, clearing him to play for what is suspected to be the whole season. So, this mess not coming to an end. This is the Tom Brady thing. The court granted the temporary stay. It doesn't mean the suspension's been lifted, but it means that this is going to court. Now, a couple things that could happen. The NFL's counterclaim could still be taken as Ezekiel Elliott filed it prematurely because it was filed before the arbitrator made his ruling, so that could get thrown out. I don't expect that to happen, though. Nothing I've read expects that to happen. Lord Emperor Goodell or Bad L, I should call him Bad L, but he could still use the commissioner's exemption list to try and prevent Zeke from playing. This would likely be met with more courtroom fodder and probably go nowhere. So it's possible, however unlikely, the matter is still resolved in season, which means that worst thing could happen. He could end up serving out the suspension towards the end of the season, but this is a win. You should have him beyond week 1. So if you got Zeke late, good job. Otherwise, stay tuned. This saga is going to be going on for a little while longer. For Washington, Jameson Crowder states he fully expects to play on Sunday. He had been dealing with a hip issue, but he sounds like he's good to go. The Chiefs have lost Eric Berry for the season due to an Achilles tear, so this one's big. Eric Berry was doing a really good job of keeping Gronkowski shut down. It's big to that secondary with Berry and Marcus Peters there. It kind of opens up the middle of the field. He was good in run support. He stopped the Patriots on a 4th and 1 last night. He was really playing out of his mind. So keep an eye on this situation. Overall, this does make that Chiefs defense weaker. They lost a huge part. In news that's not news, Odell Beckham's a game-time decision. Le'Veon Bell to have a full workload. And does anybody really have any inkling of surprise there at all? No? Okay, good, moving on. The Patriots are going to work out former Browns wide receiver Jordan Taylor. This is after Malcolm Mitchell was placed on IR and Danny Amendola got his brain scrambled. Done it more, just be aware that this is happening. I don't expect much from this. Amendola is week to week after suffering that head injury, so we're going to need somebody. Dorsett should be more up to speed, but they can't just rely on Chris Hogan, Brandon Cooks, and Philip Dorsett. They're going to need somebody that's depth, and it is the Patriots, so anything could happen. Sticking on the Patriots, linebacker Deonta Hightower has a mild MCL sprain, so he could be good to go for week 2. This is big for that defense, especially if you were in the unfortunate situation that I was to start them last night, because as soon as Hightower went out, the wheels just came off, so they need him there, and they need him there bad. Per ESPN's Josh Weinfuss, it's a funny name, he's reporting that Patrick Peterson may be shadowing Golden Tate. So this makes Marvin Jones a little bit more attractive if Peterson is on Golden Tate. Peterson should be able to shut down Golden Tate. So if that's going on, I might shy away from Tate a little bit in favor of Marvin Jones or, well, not Kenny Golladay, because don't need that hype train going again. But Marvin Jones could be a sneaky deep start if you need somebody on waivers or even in DFS this week, especially if Peterson is shadowing Golden Tate. We saw Marvin Jones play out of his mind the beginning of last year before he just disappeared. So keep an eye on this. The Chiefs yet again have re-signed C.J. Spiller 24 hours after cutting him. This happened on cut day also. More amusing than fantasy relevant to me that this happened again. Something that is kind of fantasy relevant in deeper leagues, Trent Taylor is going to serve as the 49ers' primary slot guy for week 1. So keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on that offense as we start to find out what they're going to be, but be aware that Trent Taylor should see the field some. So, could be something. Sarah Barshop of ESPN.com is reporting that Tyler Ervin could see some snaps from the slot. Naps. Yeah, he's going to lay down on the field and sleep. And Alfred Blue has been ruled out. So, again, only in deeper leagues. Don't pay too much attention to this. They're short at wide receiver with Will Fuller out, Jalen Strong suspended, but yeah, he could work himself into some form of an ancillary role there. So again, just another thing to be aware of. For the Seahawks, Tyler Lockett's officially questionable, but Pete Carroll has said he is ready to play, so should be locked and loaded and very, very startable as a possible third wide receiver against a bad Packers defense. So keeping your eye on Tyler Lockett. If you need somebody, pick him up and play him. And if you're debating on that third wide receiver, definitely consider him. Jacksonville's placing D.D. Westbrook on IR with a core injury. He will be eligible to return, so the more things change, the more they stay the same. Marquise Lee, Allen Hurns, your dart throw is as good as mine. Marquise Lee kind of broke out last year. It was Allen Hurns the year before that, but D.D. Westbrook shouldn't be a factor, so it's going to be one of those two. And in rookie tight end news, Jordan Lockett of the Jets will not play this week. That's really only relevant because you've got ASJ serving a 2-game suspension. So Lockett could have done something, but he won't now because he's not playing. And George Kittle is officially questionable with a hamstring injury for the 49ers. This one's a little bit bigger after the trade of Vance McDonald. I expect Kittle to have a role there, especially since I'm having to start him in a pinch in Dynasty thanks to the hurricane. But keep your eye on this situation. If he does play, keep an eye on him, though, because he could be a streamer later on in the year. That's all I've got news-wise. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Check out at Nick Sparts, who's going to be hosting the Ins and Outs episode. We're also going to be on Periscope on Sunday morning, starting at, I believe, 9 a.m. Or YouTube Live, whichever we see fit. Starting at, I believe, 9 a.m., though. We'll answer your ins and outs, start sits, any questions you may have. We're going to hang out, set our lineups. Don't know if morning beer's in the equation. It very well could be. Definitely coffee as we get ready for week 1 of the NFL season. As always, you can catch the podcast, Beerfield Fantasy Football, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe. Let us know what you think. As far as social media, you can follow the show at BeerfieldFF. Nick does a great job over there keeping up with responding to people. I'll hop in on occasion, but very, very active on that. Tweet us your questions. DM us, whatever you want to do. Just say, hey. You can follow me at HotBFF with 2 P's. Other co-host at 3BFF with 2 F's, as you would put it, and at Nick Sparts. And otherwise, Nick will see you all tomorrow.